Angels, it's Hailey Reese and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you are here and I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you when this video finally reaches you. Today's video is one that has absolutely chilled me to my core. I actually spent an incredibly long time thinking about all of the ways this could have went so wrong and almost imagining what could have happened to this family if things didn't come to light. I feel like this particular story and encounter freaks me out even more just thinking about everything that's been going on with my mom and Jeremy. As you guys know, I've been keeping you guys up to date on that, and I filmed an entire video on the strange happenings in their home. So when I discovered this particular story, I think it freaked me out even more, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to share it with you guys today. Quick disclaimer, you may have noticed we have some special guests in today's video. I'm not entirely sure if you can see Ace back there. He's been like digging himself the perfect spot up in the pillows, but I'm here alone and the dogs don't like to be by themselves, especially when someone's home. So I'm hoping they'll be fine for the duration of this video. This one tends to snort and snore sometimes, so fingers crossed my story doesn't put her to sleep and that they are just peaceful throughout this video. Before we get into today's story though, I would just very quickly like to thank today's video sponsor, Pinecone. Pinecone is the easiest way to earn extra cash and gift cards. Whether I'm laying in bed or just relaxing on the couch or even just have some extra time on my hands, I've been utilizing Pinecone, and so I wanted to share what Pinecone is with you guys. Pinecone is a company that asks and pays people to give feedback on brands and products. Basically, you give your opinion on brands and products and in return receive cash and gift cards. But Pinecone is actually different than any other survey brand. Since Pinecone is invite only, they have exclusive opportunities and a guaranteed payout amount for every task that you complete. Once you're in, and Pinecone actually pays more than other companies as well. You sign up with Pinecone via an invite link. Mine will be at the very top of my description for you guys. And then Pinecone will reach out once they have an opportunity for you. Each opportunity is quick and easy, so in the time that you could be scrolling on your phone or scrolling through social media, you could be utilizing Pinecone and earning cash and gift cards. So make sure that you guys use my exclusive link down in my description box. As I mentioned, it will be right there for you and you can start earning rewards. And thank you so much to Pinecone for sponsoring today's video. But without further ado, let's get into this terrifying experience. So this story begins with a mother named Vivian and her young daughter named Faith. At the time of this story, Vivian and Faith's father had decided that maybe some time apart would be best for their relationship. They decided to separate from one another and live within their own spaces and hopefully be able to work on themselves and in turn potentially be able to get back together. So they had rented out an apartment not too far from Faith's father, and we're starting out a life kind of seeing what it would be like just the two of them and with split custody. The apartment that Vivian had rented though was actually a main floor unit, meaning that they would have access to the outside. Now Vivian described this area as a relatively safe area. Most people knew each other in the building and it seemed like everyone was really looking out for one another. When Vivian and Faith had first moved into the unit, all of the neighbors kind of came together and brought over some cookies or some baked goods and introduced themselves and essentially said, if you ever need anything, let me know. Now, both of the bedrooms in this 2-bedroom apartment actually had views to the outside. And like I said, it was a ground level unit. So seeing outside was like seeing directly outside of their window, not your typical skyrise apartment view. Bluebee, no snoring. Now this did make Vivian a little bit nervous because at the time Faith had just turned 4 years old and was now sleeping completely in her own room. So Vivian went to the store and bought, I don't even know how to describe them, and I'm drawing a blank on the word that she used, but essentially like window stoppers. So the window couldn't be opened even from the inside if you didn't know how to remove it. I'll insert a picture of it on the screen here. I actually have something similar for my sliding door downstairs. But she ended up purchasing that just for the added peace of mind when Faith would be in her room sleeping by herself. Now, the first few months of living in this new apartment seemed to be going well, and the two were settling in quite nicely. So much so that Vivian even started questioning whether or not she would even want to get back with Faith's dad because she felt like she just regained this independence. They were establishing their own routine, and then she would have her own time as well when Faith would go and visit her father. The first few months were seemingly normal. There was nothing strange about the building itself, nothing strange about the surrounding areas, and everything seemed to be good. That was until Faith started experiencing what Vivian thought could be night terrors. And in these night terrors, Faith would basically tell Vivian that there was a scary woman that was coming to her in the night. Now, like I said, the window was always in its perfect place. It had its added protection there, and Vivian hadn't seen anything. So she was just led to believe that this was just the typical childhood nightmares. So whenever Faith would start having these nightmares, for a while, Vivian would allow her into her room for the rest of the night and the two would sleep there peacefully together. It got to a point, though, that Faith altogether wanted nothing to do with her room. She would say that there was a woman watching her, that she could see a woman. Vivian said that she didn't even have a thought in her mind that this could be something real. She actually started thinking maybe it could be some sort of paranormal activity. Maybe there is the spirit of a woman in this apartment, and because Faith is so young, perhaps this woman is showing herself to Faith. So Vivian sat down with Faith and told Faith that what she was seeing wasn't real, and told her ways that she could kind of block out this woman, just to close her eyes or do what she did when she was a little girl by hiding underneath the blankets. That would keep her both safe and secured. So for a while it seemed to be working. But a few nights later, Vivian will wake up to Faith running into her room hysterical. When Faith finally calmed down, she told her mom that now the woman was trying to come in. And this was Vivian's very first red flag of the whole situation, that this could be a lot more than she's realizing. She followed Faith into her room and asked her to show her what she meant by this. And that's when Faith said that she was trying to open the window now to come in. But keep in mind, like I said, the window was not only locked, but Vivian had put in that extra safety measure. This was where the red flag started coming for Vivian, though, because up until this point, from what she understood from Faith, was that there was a woman inside of her room, which wouldn't make any sense because every time that she would either go see if Faith was okay or Faith would come into her room, it was made apparent that there was nobody inside of the unit. But now, based off what Faith was saying, she started to wonder if Faith was seeing this woman outside of her window and not inside of her room, if Faith is now saying she's banging and trying to get in. So Vivian, taking this more serious now, starts to question her daughter, asking her if the woman was ever in her room or if the woman was simply watching her from outside of the windows. Now, I should have noted in the beginning, the windows in both of the bedrooms that, like I said, face outside in our ground level are pretty big windows. So it's not like a tiny little window that a child wouldn't be able to really make someone out of. And another important note in this particular story is that the outside of the apartment building was decently lit. Like you would have to close the window in order to block out any light. So you would be able to see somebody outside. And Faith didn't often sleep with her blinds closed. At this point, Vivian is pretty freaked out, but for the following nights, her daughter seems to be sleeping fine. She starts to think that maybe it was just a nightmare, but something in her gut, her mama intuition was telling her something was off. The following weekend, it came time for Faith to go and spend time with her father, and it was Vivian's weekend to be alone in the house, and she just couldn't shake this feeling of what Faith had told her. She had this deep, like I said, maternal intuition that maybe this wasn't what she perceived it to be from the beginning. So she decided to follow her gut and sleep in Faith's bed that night instead of hers to see if she could see anything or capture anything. What she had decided to do was to almost like cover her face with the blanket, and then if she should see or hear anything out of the ordinary, kind of pop up and see what the heck is going on. And to Vivian's absolute horror, in the middle of the night, she heard what almost sounded like tapping on the window. And when she sat up, she saw a woman peering into her daughter's room. Vivian said the only person who may have been more shocked than her was the woman in the window, who looked absolutely mortified when she saw that it was Vivian in the bed and it wasn't actually Faith. And she didn't even know what to do at this given point in time. Vivian was trying to process this all. It's the middle of the night. The woman's running off. She doesn't know what to make of this, and she's absolutely terrified because all she can hear repeating in her mind now is that her daughter said the woman was trying to come in now. She actually said she went between feeling terrified, angry, and then also feeling like a failure of a parent because she hadn't taken this more serious to begin with. Vivian called the police, and the police came down to the apartment and took a statement, but because the woman had ran off and because Vivian was so shocked, they didn't have the greatest description of the woman to be able to have anything to go off of. So the police essentially told her to just keep her eyes peeled and see if the woman was to come back, to call them immediately. But that just didn't sit right with Vivian. When Faith returned from her father's house, Vivian and Faith would sleep in the same bed for the months following, and the woman never returned. But where this story becomes absolutely chilling, months after Vivian had seen the woman in the window, she received a letter under her door. The letter was a handwritten letter said to be written by the woman in the window. In this letter, the woman deeply apologizes for having watched her daughter for a series of months through the window, as she had lost her child and at one point had seen Faith out on the balcony. She said that Faith looked so much like her daughter, she couldn't fathom that it wasn't, and would just go over there to watch her sleep, as it would bring her peace and feeling like it was also her daughter sleeping. She said that her daughter's passing had deeply psychologically affected her, and she grew an almost attachment to Faith because it was the closest thing that she could physically see to her daughter here. But where it gets even darker is at the end of the letter. She thanks the mother for having slept in the room that night because her obsession with her daughter was growing to the point that she wanted to hold her and she wanted to take her. When she saw the mother in the room and saw the horror on her face, it was almost like she came to, and she went and received psychological treatment, to which she wants to apologize now for her actions. The letter was not signed by anybody. They could not figure out who the woman was, and to this day, the woman has never returned. But Vivian can't help but think about, had her mother's intuition not have kicked in, what if Faith hadn't told her that the woman was trying to get in? What if she kept thinking it was paranormal, or it was nightmares, or it was imagination, when it was really a woman who was fixated on her daughter? She actually prayed for hours that night because she felt as though it was her angels and her intuition that saved her daughter from a potential kidnapping. The kicker of it all is that the building that they lived in did have cameras, but ironically, none of the cameras had been working over the months that the woman had been outside of the windows. So they have absolutely no idea whether the woman lived in the building or whether the woman just was from the vicinity or where she came from. But despite the woman apologizing and claiming to having received psychological treatment, they actually decided to move and go find a different place. I don't know, you guys, when I heard this story, it absolutely chilled me because I can't even fathom the loss of a child or what that would do to you psychologically, but I also can't fathom hearing that your child there was somebody obsessed with your baby, thinking that it was hers and wanting to have her. It's just an absolutely traumatic and chilling story, and so I wanted to share it with you guys and ask your guys' thoughts and opinions on this case. So definitely let me know down in the comment section below. And that is it for today's chilling story. Good job, Blue. You didn't snore too much. Once again, I would just absolutely love to thank Pinecone for sponsoring today's video. Make sure that you guys use my exclusive link down in my description box to start earning rewards. And thank you so much to Pinecone for sponsoring. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my content, I would seriously love it if you would go ahead and click that subscribe button, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you.